when you saw I Took a Pill in Ibiza reversed your descent into an ascent, did it feel different? Did you approach it with a new lens, being like, I'm not going to fall into the traps of my first ascent? Or, was it just as much fun and giddy as the first time around?
It was certainly experienced with more gratitude and appreciation for, hey, this is actually kind of a rare thing, so it's okay to enjoy it, and appreciate it, be grateful for it, because we know it comes after and up now. There's eventually, like, no one stays at number one forever. There
Yeah.
hasn't been a song in history that got to number one and just stayed up there. They've all come down. So I remember feeling a greater sense of appreciation and awareness of the rarity of the moment, and an intention to be grateful for it. Now, sort of during the real wave of I Took a Pill in Ibiza's success, this wave was punctuated not by the song really falling down the charts, but actually by my father's diagnosis with glioblastoma, which is cancer of the brain. So, I got a phone call one day when I was in LA, and my mom said, your dad has a tumor in his head the size of a tangerine. They're going to take it out tomorrow. And so I just got on a plane, and I went home, and I essentially moved home while I had this like giant success. And you said in my intro, I got nominated for the Grammy. That's when I got nominated for the Grammy. But I was at home helping my dad transition from life to death during that time. And he died, I think, about 10 months after we got that diagnosis. And I sort of had this feeling of possibility / like disillusionment wash over my life again, like sort of a gray malaise, like what's next? And I washed back up on the shores of LA and found myself sort of in recording studios. I made an album, actually really good album in my opinion, maybe my best album. But still, it felt like I had this sense that there was something more. There had to be something more, both inside me and also like my life had to be more. It took me a while, another year. And then a friend of mine, Avicii, who was a wonderful producer and artist, he died. He killed himself. And then I realized, like, hey, I too am going to die one day, hopefully not anytime soon. But before then, I really want to live my life. And I had this dream that I had sort of put on the back burner for years and years, which was to walk across America. And I thought, well, I'm either going to do it or I'm just going to live somebody else's life, And that's when I started to think in a real way, like, I want to do this thing. I actually had a psychedelic experience right before I started the walk. I sat ayahuasca, and it was actually like a really, really challenging experience. Like I always say, at no point during that sit was I having fun. One of the big takeaways was, hey, you're sort of living a life you designed 10 years ago when you're 21, and you're 31 now. And while you actually have grown and your values have evolved in an admirable way, your lifestyle hasn't. Like, what you're actually doing with your time is the same. And so that needs to change. And I got affirming the intention that I didn't have to live the normal script of an artist's life, which is sort of to make an album, go on tour, make an album, go on tour, make an album, go on tour, go to Vegas, like that wasn't going to be my path and my journey. And there's nothing wrong with that path or journey should it be someone else's path or journey, but it just didn't feel like mine. I thought, well, like I can sort of like make and create music and then go on this adventure. And I actually don't have to like go on tour after I put this album. I can sort of create my own, like pick and choose what I like from the playbook and use it and kind of throw away the rest and create. And so that was really sort of a kick in the butt. it wasn't a gentle nudge or a kind reminder. It was a real kick in the butt. Like you gotta make some changes. And while I already had the intention of going on the walk, it's sort of like the artifice and scaffolding around that whole thing had to get stripped away and rebuilt. And so that journey was in November 2018. And my first step of the walk across America was April 15th, 2019. So I don't know how many months that is, like 4 5 months later.
What was your reaction at that moment? Was it fear, anger, sadness, probably a combination? And then the question I'm actually more interested in is how you started the story, which was you said the artifice and scaffolding of the walk across America had to fall away or change, and I'm curious to know how that changed.
So what I really meant like the artifice and scaffolding was not of the walk, but of like my whole life, or the way I was a thought of myself, the way I related to the world, which was I guess before sort of a lens of like trying to do something everyone's gonna like, trying to get back to that place of success I had been before. Like I just needed to stand at the center of my life and create from there instead of like trying to take polling data from outside sources and run it back through and back out. It couldn't work that way anymore. So that's really what I meant by that. Like I had to reconstruct what I thought my life was supposed to be and how it was supposed to work, and the questions that I would ask to even make the decisions on how to come upon the answers of what my life should look like and how it should be lived and what it meant for me to live a meaningful life. So that was really the thing.